What's up, y'all, and welcome to the next episode of Life Over Lattes, where we sip on lattes and talk about life. Y'all know, same thing, different day, different topic. So, today we will talk about just growing up in a specific neighborhood. If y'all will, growing up in a poor neighborhood or growing up in a poor area where we don't have it all, obviously. We're going to talk about basically the struggles, the ins and outs. Not necessarily the struggles, because personally, I don't even like to talk about my struggles. But I'm just going to talk about the struggles overall based on my experience and then based on what I've seen people go through and stuff like that. And not only that, good times too, because we have good times as well. So we're going to talk about the good times too. So the first question is, what is the most memorable thing that you have from your past? What's the thing that you remember the most growing up? One thing that I feel like I remember the most growing up is being able to just go outside and play. That's the one thing that I don't see kids doing nowadays. I see it here and there, but I don't necessarily see it a lot anymore, just because it's a digital time where kids, they love to be on these iPads, baby. They love to do it all. But I'm like, kudos to them. They found something that they like to do. But me personally, I miss that energy where I could go, literally come home from school after a long day of school and still have the energy to go outside and stay out until the streetlights came on. I miss that energy. Baby, get home from work, I be ready to go get up in that bed. I be ready to get in that bed. So that's one thing. That's one of the most memorable things that I think I liked from growing up in those neighborhoods and stuff. Where everybody just meeting up outside. You go have fun, play games, do different stuff. And then you go back in the house before the streetlights came on. That was fun. So how did the area I grew up in shape the way I view community and friendships now? I feel like it made me realize things early on. The fact that it made me realize the difference between how somebody can be your friend, somebody is not your friend. It made me realize different stuff like that, to where it's like, all right, I know who my friend is and I know who not my friend. I know who I got to watch out for. It just made me realize a lot of stuff. So, I don't know, I feel like community, I guess we came together as, it wasn't like a community thing. Like some of these suburban neighborhoods, they be having like community events and stuff. Like it be churches and the stuff around, the people around the community that's already they used to try to help out and stuff like that. But I don't think I ever seen a sense of community for real as far as group workout events for the community and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of that stuff came when I became an adult. So most of the time, all I did was go home, go to school, do all of the events and stuff that I had going on at school, and then I would just go home and go play outside. That's really all it was for real. I'm pretty sure they had block parties and stuff like that, but that was it. I went to a couple of block parties and stuff, but them parties, we really wasn't even supposed to be at them parties as kids. It was an adult party, so it was kind of... But I feel like it made me see a lot of things as far as early on rather than later, of who to watch out for, as far as I can call this person my friend, but I'm not gonna call this person my friend, something like that. So a typical day for me growing up, it was a lot. It's so hard to think so far back into them times, because I liked it, but I was ready to get on my own. I was ready to be gone. But a typical day would be walk to school, go through the 8 hours of school and classes, and then walk back home. And then go outside and play. And then go back in the house. That was it. Until I got on up there in age, I just started staying in the house more and more as I got on up there in age. Because when I started to become like adult, people, all like the gangs and stuff, everybody just killing. I don't know. It just was stuff going on that I didn't want to be associated with. So I was just like, I'm just going to stay in this house until I get 18. Then I'm going to go. I don't know where I'm about to go, but I'm going to go. So I ended up going to college, and honestly, I'm glad I left and went to college, because I don't know, I don't think I would have let the place manipulate me. Oh Lord, I can't talk. I would have never let the place manipulate me, but I think that it's easy to be manipulated in those type of environments as well. And then people also get envious and get jealous and stuff in those environments. So it's just like, I just had to go. I just didn't want to be around that negative energy, and then I felt like it was like just negative energy all the time. I just couldn't do it. I was just like, let me get out. And then it depends on family. It depends on different things, your friendships and all of that as well. But I just had to go. I just didn't want to be around that anymore. So what is one thing I would go back and tell my younger self? What's one thing I would tell my younger self? One thing I would tell my younger self is to not to worry about what other people got. Just love where you are in that moment is what I would tell my younger self. Don't worry about what other people got going on. Just because somebody got these new shoes, the new Jordans that come out there and said, that don't mean you gotta have it. You gotta realize what people is going through in life. And you're not the only one that's needy. Everybody's needy. The adults, the kids, everybody needy. But you gotta, the wants and the needs, you gotta just balance the wants and the needs. So I would tell my younger self to just not worry about it and just wait until it's my time to shine. That's what I would tell my younger self, honestly. So as I got older, the next question is, how did you feel in the different environments from where I grew up from? So basically, as I got older, I left the environment that I grew up in, and then I went to different environments. So, the first thing I did was went to college. That wasn't really too much different. It was different in the aspect of I went to a HBCU, so historically Black college and university. So I was around my people. So it didn't feel too different, but it was a different environment. Just getting up every day, going to class, just meeting different people from different places. And then you realize everybody is literally not the same person. Even if it don't matter if they come from where you come from, they still not the same people, if that makes sense. It really doesn't matter, right? So, I don't know. I didn't feel too different in college. I was like, oh, I'm around my folks. I felt okay. But I also felt kind of away from the crowd, too. Because I'm not the night owl type person. I'm not really a night owl. So, I feel like everybody at school was a night owl or a party. They was drinking a lot and stuff like that. I only want to do that every blue moon. I wasn't the type of person that wanted to do it all the time. So I wouldn't say I felt left out. I didn't feel left out at all in college because I did cheer and everything. But I just feel like, I don't know. I don't think I felt no type of way about it, though. I felt unapologetic. I feel like I could unapologetically be myself because nobody pressured me to have to want to do those things. So if somebody called me and was like, you want to go out to this party? And I'm like, nah, not really, not tonight. I'm about to go to bed. I'm tired. Then nobody pressured me because I didn't want to go to a party. It was just lame, but I'm like, oh, that's fine. I'm about to go to sleep. I'll see y'all tomorrow. But it was just stuff like that. And but I did feel a little bit like it was harder to make friends when I wasn't doing that because I'm just like, or just meet new people because I wasn't doing it. But I just met people from my organizations and that's it. It wasn't no hard feelings towards the people that go out and stuff all the time. But I didn't really too much care. I guess you could say I wasn't feeling any type of way about saying no to a party. I didn't care. But I liked college though. I do feel like I could have got a better experience out of it. I could have did more as far as organizations or events, club events and stuff like that. I feel like I could have did a little bit more. But I was also focused a lot on ROTC in college too. So as far as me being focused on that, then me being focused on my academics, and then do other things, I was more focused on the broader picture than going to parties. But parties, don't get me wrong, parties be fun because I done went to a few, but I was focused on other things, honestly. Oh, another different environment. So after I got out of college, I went into my job. I went into my job and I was around a different setting, a different demographic of people. It was diverse, basically, a lot of different people. But being in those type of environments, I don't know, I wouldn't say I felt left out or nothing, but I felt like I had to go 110% or I had to go way overboard to be noticed or something like that. So I'm just like, this is not my place. So I'm just like, I feel like I could have I was like, this is not my place. I don't know. In those diverse environments, it's like I don't know. You got to be able to maneuver a certain way in those environments. And I just feel like I'm not that person. Sometimes I'm too blunt. Sometimes I got a RBF. And it just be stuff that I hear repetitively that I do not want to hear over and over again all the time because that's not me. People try to judge me based on what they see. Whole time they don't know me in those places. So it's just like, but you got those people in those places as well that make you feel comfortable, that make sure you good and stuff like that too. However, it's very slim to none. So I felt as though in those environments where it's not as many black folks in those environments, that I had to go 10 times harder than I normally do. Not saying I don't give 100% at all times, because one thing about me, whatever job I'm in, I'm about to give 100% at all times. That's 24/7 for me. However, if I'm going overboard and I'm doing that and the third, but it's not being noticed, it's kind of, oh, I'm wasting my time. So that's the case too. And then there's a lot of other stuff that play into it. Y'all know. I don't know. Y'all probably don't know. We'll talk about it later. But it's a lot of other stuff that play into it. You see somebody else doing the same thing you did, or you, not even the same thing. They probably did something less than what you did, but they getting recognized. And then here you go going 110%, and you not getting recognized. What am I doing here? Ariana, what are you doing here? So I feel like that in some of those places as well, different environments and stuff like that. So I've been on both ends. I feel more at home when I'm around more black folks than I feel in another environment. But sometimes though, my people, they be disappointing me. So sometimes I don't feel at home with them. It got to be like a mixture. It got to be 50-50. I need 50%. I need it all 100% diverse all throughout. 10% of every race is what I feel like I could thrive in, or whatever, like I feel good in, right? So, or maybe more. I don't know, but the job that I'm in right now, actually, it's 95% of black folks. So, and I feel very comfortable in my job. I feel like they're all so nice and everything. So I think it really just depends on the place. It depends on the people, the person. It depends on the attitude of the person, the character. I feel like that's all it plays out to be. It's about the character, the attitude that person got, and then it's about whether or not that person is just a good person overall, like a genuine person. Because if you're in an environment with people that look exactly like you, all 100% of people look like you, then you probably gonna have some issues in that environment. But then if you're in an environment where 50% of people are like you, you might have less issues. You never know. It really depends on the person, in the job environment as well, the corporate environment that you're in as well. So I feel like growing up was good. It definitely was good. It had its times, its obstacles and everything. But I don't feel like it was a thing that shaped me and how I think anyways. Everything that I've seen, it was like I'm learning a lesson from that. I try my best to learn lessons from other people and not make the same mistakes that other people make. Because one thing about it, if you learn that lesson from somebody else, you ain't got to go through it. You ain't got to go through the hardships of the lesson that somebody else learned. So I try my best. Listen, anytime if somebody going through something and I see it happening to them firsthand, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm not doing the same thing that they did. I'm learning the lesson from you. I'm not doing the same thing that you did. I'm learning that lesson from you. All right, so I feel like people should do that more often. And if you gonna do something, or if you don't learn a lesson from somebody else and you want to do it anyways and you still get a bad outcome, it's just like I can't feel bad for you, because you saw it happen to someone, but you still want to go back and do it. I don't know. But other than that, I feel like me growing up and the things that I seen, that's where I learned my lessons from. I just be like, I see so-and-so went through this, I ain't doing it. Nope. Won't get me. So I try my best to learn lessons. Some things you can't really stop or anything like that. But with me, I try my best to learn lessons from other people, so I don't have to go through the same thing that somebody else went through, or worse. You never know. It could be worse. You never know. All right. So one thing I wanted to talk about was how people in the neighborhood that I grew up in, how people grew up, how I seen people grow up from kids to now, from kids to adults. So basically, everything was all good as kids. Everybody was just so happy. Of course, we used to like and stuff, but that's neither here or there. I'm pretty sure as a kid, everybody done fought somebody, unless they just a kid that's in, I don't know. I'm pretty sure as a kid, everybody done fought. So that's neither here nor there. That was kind of a fun thing we used to do back then too. We used to get 10 and stuff like that. But I feel like the more people grew up, the more life just started happening. People started struggling and stuff like that. And it just became something that it shouldn't have became. As far as these little cliques and gangs and stuff, I just feel like it shouldn't have became what it became, right? So growing up, it was so good. It was everybody was just happy. We would fight and then we'd get it over with and be right back friends. Or the younger you were, you would just fight and be right back friends. But then as you got older, you realize we gonna fight, but then it's not gonna be my friend no more. So once you got into 15, 16, 17, those ages right there, cool, we gonna fight, but whoever we fighting, it ain't gonna, that's not my friend no more. Your friend is, and you're based on stuff like that. The older you get. But I feel like the older we all got, people started struggling and stuff, and the struggles made people feel like they was stuck in a certain place. And I'm not trying to like take up for why people did the things that they did, but I really do feel like in black poor neighborhoods and stuff I grew up from, people struggled and they felt like they was stuck. I think once people started feeling stuck, it was hard for them to get out of that mindset too. I feel like struggling is a mindset, but I feel like when people, I keep saying I feel like a lot, but I do though. When people started getting stuck and they started struggling and feeling like they ain't have no other way out, then that's when the real bad things started happening. That's when guns came about. Then don't get me started on guns, because once they started putting them guns in them neighborhoods, oh, that was another horror story. I'll tell you that. But I really think people should have looked at it like, why are they putting guns in the neighborhoods? Then they making it to where you don't even got to have no license to buy a gun. Then you don't have to get, it was just so much stuff. I realized they putting the guns in the neighborhoods just because they want us to kill each other off. And people don't even think like that, because it's also drugs in the neighborhoods as well. So it's like the drugs manipulating people's minds, and then they turn around, they got access to guns too, free access to guns. So it's just like, you got the guns and the drugs, that's a bad mixture right there. That's automatically a bad mixture right there. And then not even to talk about how when you feel like you struggling and you feel like you ain't got no way out, and somebody else, you see them climbing the ladder, climbing to the top and everything, you see them doing well, them drugs be manipulating people's minds, and they be making people jealous and just all of that stuff. It just enhances everything that people already be thinking anyways. And it's just like, I just wish people would just not let this stuff manipulate their minds. But that's basically what happened growing up. As soon as we became adults, all of this stuff, it just started manipulating people's minds. But not only, I wouldn't even say only the drugs and stuff will manipulate people's minds, but also each other. The people that they hang around also manipulate their minds as well, because they look at them like some of these gangs and stuff, or like whatever y'all want to call it, I don't know, the gangs, the cliques, something. But these things, these people in these cliques and stuff, the younger kids that grew up, they was looking up to these people. And so by the time we grew up, they was already in that specific environment or that specific organization. And they basically just, that was it. They learned everything from the organizations that they seen. So they started killing each other off. Everybody just killing each other off and stuff like that. I just wish, oh my goodness, so many people from my class and stuff like that, they was just dropping like flies. And I'm just like, bro, why? Y'all know how small Memphis is? Memphis is already small. And then y'all over here want to kill each other off because of some kind of like gang violence or beef or whatever that nonsense is that y'all be having going on. I just, like, I was disgusted at some point, because literally every time I looked on social media or something like that, or sometimes my best friend, she'll be sending me stuff like, you remember so-and-so? And I'm like, every time you ask me, do I remember somebody, my heart dropped, because I'm like, who is this now? What is going on? But I'm just like, I just wish, I don't know, I wish we could go back in time and try to figure out something to where we kept the drugs away, kept the guns away, and just still like everybody was out here thriving. I just wish everybody was thriving. I don't know why, but I like to see people do good and stuff like that. And the way people was just dropping, and it's still going on to this day actually. I'm 25. I left home when I was 18. It's still stuff like this going on, and people still stay in those areas, in those environments of life. And I'm not talking down on nobody or nothing like that, but I just feel like I just feel like people, if you stay in those areas, then that means you just want to play the games that's being played in those areas. So I don't know. I just feel like, dang, I wish we could go back in time and figure out a different way to do things, because I love my folks. I be wanting to have I be wanting to go to a little high school reunion or something, but can't even do that because I don't even know what type of time people be on nowadays. So I can't even do that. Anyways, I feel like, what I've seen based on experience, because it ain't what I feel like. It's based on experience. Most of the parents that around my neighborhood, they didn't know how to teach their kids growing up either. It was just certain things. Some parents, and you had onesies and twosies that did, but most of these parents, they didn't know how to teach their kids. Everybody felt trapped. Everybody felt stuck. The place that I grew up from, it just felt like everybody felt trapped, and everybody was like the same way. It was just the same patterns over and over and over again. Everybody felt, I feel like, not everybody, but most people felt trapped and stuck in those environments and stuff like that. So I feel like the way that they felt, or maybe it was raised, maybe it's the way that they was raised, it dictated how they raised their kids as well. So it's trickling down. It's just a pattern that's consistently trickling down. But you also have those kids that were raised a certain way, but didn't come out like that too. You got some people have strong minds to where you cannot manipulate them, or where their environment can't manipulate them. And I feel like that's how everybody should be. I feel like majority of us, I keep saying I feel like, majority of us let these environments manipulate our minds. And I don't think that's how we should be. We should not feel stuck. There is plenty of jobs out here. There's plenty of things out here for people to do, rather than just sitting up and feeling stuck and feeling sorry for yourself. Oh, so me personally, I don't blame my parents for because I don't know. I just don't hold grudges against people and stuff. So I just be like, hey, it is what it is. Move on with life. I'm about to do my thing, and that's just that on that. I don't let situations that's around me, I don't let anything like that manipulate my mind, because I know what I'm capable of. You got to have a strong mind in situations like that and growing up from environments like that, because if you don't, then you're just going to let it run you. It's basically dragging you around like a rag doll. So I feel like also a lot of us are influenced by music. And when I say that, I say it with everything. The music that's being played in people's heads and the music that people are listening to, they letting it influence them straight up. And I'm saying country music can't influence somebody in a bad way. Not saying jazz music can't influence somebody in a bad way. All of this music, it can influence somebody in a bad way. But the music that we listen to and that we grow up on, it's the blues. Now, the blues gonna give you the blues, right? We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But the rap music that we grew up on, it influences people in a bad way, because I done seen it firsthand. I see people like, you listen to the rap music, you driving in the car, you going to speed limit at first, then here come this song come on, you want to go 150 over. I don't even think it's 150. Anyways, you want to go over 100 now because you heard this song playing on the radio. That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that can influence people's minds and stuff. Even the lyrics to the songs, they be influencing folks. So if you don't got no strong mind, you gonna let everything in life influence you, either in a good way or a bad way every time. You can be influenced in a good way too, but most of the time, this stuff that they put out into the world is worldly stuff. So it's gonna influence you in a worldly way, in a bad way, right? Because that's all they put out in the world. So I think another thing is that the fact that people, I feel like me personally, I really don't care. But I feel like most of us got hatred in our hearts for the things that, right, the history, the racism, that's it, the history. We got a hate in our heart for that history. So with that being said, once we see that stuff around us, then we lash out. And we weren't never taught to how to control our emotions and stuff like that. So I feel like that's how people should be taught how to control their emotions and stuff too. Because that plays a big part in why a lot of things happen the way they happen in these neighborhoods, is because people don't know how to control their emotions. If you grew up in the hood, you ain't finna be talking crazy to nobody. But that's because people don't know how to control their emotions. You just gotta control your emotions. That's it. Somebody said this, that, and the third to you. That don't mean you gotta go crazy every time. That don't mean you gotta shoot every time. Just be like, just learn how to communicate. You don't gotta go be violent every time. You don't even gotta be violent nowadays. You can really just walk away and let somebody unless it's self-defense. But other than that, you don't even gotta be violent for real nowadays. You can just do your thing. Just go on about your life. And that's what I'm trying to get folks to understand. You don't gotta be in the situation that you in. You can literally just go on about your life and mind your business. Sometimes people, I ain't gonna knock it. Sometimes people get put in those situations. However, it don't happen to everybody. So you can choose how to react to certain things as well. That's all I'm trying to say. You can choose how you gonna react to a certain situation. You don't gotta react violent all the time. But going back to what I was saying about guns and stuff, the drugs, all of that stuff, drugs, that stuff was placed in our neighborhoods for a reason. It was placed in our neighborhoods because they know these people got a weak mind and they can't control nothing. They let everything manipulate them. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put these guns right here and we're gonna let them get them without license. And then we're gonna put these drugs out here too in these streets. Where are these drugs coming from? We can't even go. Some stuff I don't be wanting to say on here. I want to go deep into it, but I can't even really say too much because I'm just like, I got to remember this podcast. I can't do too much. All right. But they planning this stuff. Come on. Stop letting stuff manipulate y'all, bro. I just wish. I don't know. I wish that this message could get a certain demographic of folks because I feel like I just want y'all to don't stop letting this stuff manipulate y'all. Don't try to use where you come from as an excuse because you think you can't get nowhere because you come from here. Don't do that. Don't try to use it as an excuse. You just got to realize you just got a weak mind. That's it. You just got to realize that's what it is. You can't think for yourself. You just got to just figure it out. I don't know no other race that fight each other like we do. Black folks, I just wish we would come together and just be one. I don't know nobody else that fight each other like we do. I'm not saying that other races ain't got no crazy folks. Yes, they got active shooters, they got terror. It's different things for different folks. But we no other race fight each other like we do. We fight each other. They fight everybody else. They come together and they fight everybody else, but we over here fighting each other. Cause y'all wanna be cause people wanna be jealous of the next person. People don't want to see the next person doing good. So you gonna try to take somebody else shine because you ain't on the same level as them. This is why celebrities don't be coming back to the neighborhoods and stuff to help nobody out because you literally cannot. If you go back to a neighborhood and help somebody out, bro, you bound to get your life taken. Like that's just how it be. But people don't understand that. Everybody just feeling sorry for themselves, stuck in that one place and be like, so don't never come back to give back to their community. But you can't. You literally cannot give back to your community because people will literally take everything from you because they don't get it. And you trying to give them some of it. You trying to get them a piece of it and they still trying to take it from you. They still trying to take your life and you over here trying to get them a piece of what you get. How that work? Why celebrities don't come back to the poor neighborhoods because you literally can't go back. Why you think every time somebody get famous, they gone. They move out, they gone. That's it. You don't never see them no more because you literally can't. The only person that got some real recognition, and then that was because this was way back then. Yo Gotti got some real recognition way back then because nobody wasn't really doing too much back then. Everybody was just really just chilling. This when I was young or whatever. Every time Yo Gotti pulled up, it wasn't none of that. It wasn't nothing really going on. Everybody knew he was there and everything. It wasn't nobody on no hating type stuff for him. So I don't know, but nowadays it's hard. You can't do none of that. If you get famous and you come on up, you better stay gone. Cause I'm telling you, these folks, I don't know. Or maybe it's just like maybe it's just the celebrities that was like beefing with somebody from like way back then. But cause some celebrities get love. Different celebrities be getting love and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's always that one person that's gonna hate on you or something for you shining, for you putting in that work. So it's like you gotta realize I don't know. I feel like that's what our people gotta realize. That's why celebrities and stuff don't come back around because of stuff like that. So me growing up from where I'm from and then leaving out, I didn't even realize how much of the world was against us. I didn't realize how much of the world was against us because I didn't really know the world like that. I was just a young girl living from Memphis, living in the Crest. I was just around the Crest from 4 years old until I got 18. I was living in Ridgecrest. So coming straight from Ridgecrest to going to college in Missouri and stuff like that, I didn't realize a lot of the things that I realize now of how much of the world hate black folks or how much of the world hate us. I just did not realize that until now. And then I'm also realizing people that's from where I'm from probably still don't realize that because they don't know the rest of the world. They probably don't even know that we got black people in different countries. And it's like black people in different countries and stuff too. And that speak different languages because they don't get, they just in that one place or whatever. Because I didn't realize that until I got 18 and I started exploring and I started doing like research and stuff. It's a lot of us around the world, but then it's a lot of hate from around the world too. I don't know. It seems like every time I be looking up different countries and stuff to go to. I gotta look up, do they like black people there? Bruh, ain't no way. I gotta look up a different country and I gotta ask the question on Google. Is it okay for black people to go there? Bro, it's crazy because when you go home to your neighborhood, you gotta always be on standby. I'm paranoid because I'm like, you never know. I'm looking over each shoulder, right? And then you also got to do that when you go out the country too. You got to do that around your people and everybody else. You got to watch over your shoulder around your people and everybody else. Come on now. It should not be like that. I just don't get it. I don't get how people can hate people. For one, I don't get how people can hate people from just by their skin tone anyways. But I also don't get how black people just cannot come together. And just come together in those specific neighborhoods. Not saying, because there's plenty of neighborhoods and towns and stuff where we do come together and do events and stuff like that. There's plenty. However, I'm talking about in those specific neighborhoods where I grew up from. I don't know. I care about where I grew up from because I'm like, I wish I could help people understand what they see, what they missing out on, or what they not seeing. I wish I can help people understand what they not seeing in those places where I'm from. Because they don't know to do research. They don't know to do this, that, and the third. Because who cares? They don't care about that right now. What they care about is surviving. That's what they care about. So it's like you being that person that can talk to them. You could be that person that's giving them the message. If that makes sense. That's how it be. But one thing I don't like about whenever I talk to people, I go back home and I like talk to people and I'm like, so come on, like, why don't you go out of town somewhere? Just try to figure it out. They like, man, it's hard. I grew up. Nah, I do not like when people try to use that I grew up this excuse to not have nothing in life. Everybody got their own struggles. You gotta just figure out how to maneuver outside of their struggle. It's a way to do it. And you can start off with a little job. Look, you don't even gotta have nothing too crazy. You don't even gotta have nothing too crazy to get out of that type of environment. But I just don't like when people use that as an excuse to say that they can't do something. I'm just like, come on now. You do not, come on, make it make sense. Come on, tell me something else. What else you got? But y'all like, and then another thing that I learned, most of these parents in these environments, they ain't got nothing to do but sit down and have kids because we all know how we grow up. We know, but they be having kids and stuff, and then they have the oldest kid watching all the other kids, and the oldest kid can't have no life and stuff, and just be stuck in the house because they gotta watch all the other kids, and then the oldest kid just grow up fast and loud. It be just too much going on. It just be a lot going on. And I just hope people can change. Honestly, I just be praying for my folks, and that's it. That's all I can do. I'm trying to work on myself, become the best version of me, and then I help people out here and there. But I send a lot of prayers and stuff like that. I send a lot of prayers and stuff. So with that being said, I be wanting the best for folks, but I just got to realize everybody don't want the best for themselves, or everybody not going to work towards having the best for themselves. So I just was like, I took my hands up and I was just like, hey, if you don't want what's best for yourself, then I can't want what's best for you either. That's it. If you don't want nothing in life, I don't want nothing for you. That's all I can say. That's all I can do. That's it. But my family though, I grew up on love. I don't know, me, I love my family. I love my folks. I love everybody in my family. I love both sides of my family, even though they don't be knowing each other like that for real. I love both of them. I love everybody in my family. But I want them to realize what I'm talking about too, because some of them probably feel like they stuck. Some of my family members, they probably feel like they stuck too. I'm like that. But I don't know. I just got to figure out a way of how I can get to them and let them know that they can do more in life. It's more to life than just, being stuck in the same area or something like that. But some people want to be stuck in those same areas, and that's okay too. You literally don't always gotta go places or move out of town, or you can just stay in the areas. But I just gotta, I love my folks. I love my family. I love where I grew up from, because if I didn't grow up from that place, I wouldn't even know how to understand. I wouldn't even understand the struggles of how everybody that's black, a lot of people that's black, had these same struggles. I wouldn't even understand the struggles if I didn't grow up in the struggles. So I'm glad I grew up the way I grew up, but I'm also glad that I came out of it the way I came out of it, because it just be what it be. So drop down in the comments and let me know what struggles y'all went through growing up, how y'all think we can change those struggles as a community, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching this episode of Life Over Lattes podcast. I am getting so much better at this podcast thing, but we're going to keep working towards getting better and better. And we're going to start doing interviews soon, so we don't have to keep talking in circles. Because I'm comment, subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Bye.